now on the red side. OpTic Academy versus Clutch Gaming on the blue. As we start our ban phase, Sejuani Evelyn. Yeah. Jungler's actually going to get focused out here to start things off.
Moons, Evelyn still picking up bans after weeks since we last saw it. Ryze has kind of become what a lot of people think is probably the premier pick with just how strong so many of these AP itemizations are. A lot of them are very high mana items, so any champion that has mana ratios and these kinds of things is probably going to benefit a lot from this patch, or anyone who just wants a lot of mana.
Yep. Azir get taken out, and one more. They're going to take away from Sun possibly in the mid lane, or maybe even Moon as well in that jungle. Yeah, I mean, remember the Tracker's Knife, Delio.
Yeah, so I mean, there's so many changes on this patch in general. There you go, the Kha'Zix, an aggressive champion, taken away. Like you said, Tracker's Knife gone. That's, I think, why we started seeing some more Rek'Sai, because just generally speaking,
tremors. Yeah,
she has good extra vision, and she can move around in really weird ways through her 3-6 ganking.
That's true.
So now that it's harder to track people early on, maybe you can see more explosive early games with her. We'll have to see.
A safe lane for Piglet to start off. He'll take the Ezreal. Not a super game changer, but it does give Clutch Gaming a way to get out of that lane nice and easy.
And Piglet does like his champions with a fair amount of autonomy, knowing that he can shift forward and take a fight into his own hands, or shift back when his team is
very true.
Not with him. So he's had a good Ezreal as well. We heard, I think it was Aerie who laned against him and said, like, oh god, his laning is just so amazing, hitting every Q against him and made it very difficult. They ended up losing that game, as Piglet had some troubles around the Raptor pit.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Do you decide to take the Nunu? Kadir now picking. Interesting. You wouldn't just kind of take your Nunu. But you get the time. They're using the seconds to get that selection. They knew they wanted a Nunu. Then they say the Maokai. Mark, you were talking a few moments about tanks earlier today. I think it's going to continue.
Yep. We're talking about tanks who can build Banner of Command. We're talking about comps that are good at taking objectives, so that way you can force that Baron down, because now if you get a Baron, the game's over. So hey, brute force it, whatever. Just, you know, you're willing to risk losing a couple people to get a Baron buff these days, and Nunu will do just that.
I like it as well, because in a way, teams know when to not to take a 50-50, but if it's the game, you almost always take the 50-50 now, so you're the lesser team is forced into it.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much punishment, but it can be so good. Yeah, and even better now. Like oh god, it's holy moly, that coin flip. That coin flip. Galio locked in, Camille locked in. We didn't even really discuss anything there for 10 seconds, but it was crazy. And now they're going for Cassiopeia on the side of OpTic.
Yeah, we're so caught up on 8.4, like, oh, Nunu's going to be crazy. It's like, oh, how about one of the strongest comps from last patch in Camille Galio?
Word.
Galio, interestingly, I personally feel like there's a lot of strong HP plus, like, AP damage items out there right now. With that Abyssal Mask, they have the Oblivion Orb items now, as well as Leandri's Torment. So I think there's a pretty good case to build a lot of these items in the mid lane. Galio can potentially use a lot of those. So he's probably going to be just fine on 8-4.
It's already so scary that he kind of did damage before, but now he can prioritize a bit of damage. Blows up a pretty good 2v1 situation as well. Change that right around. On to the second phase of bans. Braum, Caitlyn, taken away, but on different sides. And we'll see if Andy still gets a few more hits here as they hit up Vulcan on the side of Clutch Gaming Academy.
Yeah, we'll have to see if there's too many more support bans, because currently neither team has a support taken. It is going to be more support bans. Alice are taken away as well. And Clutch Gaming with the Ezreal trying to protect it from some early game bullies. They got rid of the Caitlyn, now getting rid of a hyperscaler in Tristana makes some sense, so that Piglet should be one of the strongest picks available. Kog'Maw actually got buffed on this patch. It was 2 patches ago that they had the big nerf, and then they buffed it back up went from 7 to 5. Now it's at 6% at max rank of W. So maybe that's why we started to see it come back a little bit, but it didn't look great yesterday.
It doesn't have protection for this composition, so it would be quite tough. Varus is actually still up there, but they're going to go with the Xayah and a Rakan possibly still on that side of OpTic Academy.
Yeah, it's awkward now because Clutch Gaming probably don't necessarily want Rakan. It does combo well with Galio as a way to start the fight, but with Ezreal, it's kind of not great, so we'll see if they split that bot lane up. And like you said, Xayah having the defensive tools, that ultimate to dodge out on that kind of wombo combo that comes in from Camille and Galio is pretty good pick for them.
Sion rarely banned, getting heavily picked. I wonder if that'll start to change. Sometimes you want to say I can lane against this, but you can also control a lane completely. in some cases.
Yeah, and it's interesting too because this means that Camille's now going to be getting flexed to the jungle most likely. Could be a support Scion, who really knows at this point what people are doing.
Yeah.
But
there's the time.
All right, so that kind of locks Scion into the top lane, Camille into the jungle. Interesting because they want more Banner of Commands.
Yep. And
Camille doesn't want to build Banner of Commands, so put her in the jungle.
Do it. We've seen it before.
Yeah.
Actually, just recently in the NALCS as well.
Yep, Contracts picked up the Golden Guardians' first win on it.
Yeah.
Spirit was playing it a lot in Korea.
It was funny. They kept it on Golden Guardians. It's like Lorlo, Camille. All right, Contracts, Camille. Ooh, Contracts. We got to win there.
Yeah.
It was great.
And there's that Rakan, like you were saying. It was hard for Clutch
Lovers
Gaming.
duo.
Yep, Clutch Gaming didn't want to split that bot lane up, so OpTic get it for free, which is kind of hard to do on red side, generally speaking. You got to think that maybe it was a mistake on the bans there by Clutch not to ban out Xayah to break that bot lane up, because usually you ban one, you get rid of the other one. And like you were saying also, Xayah, pretty defensive against your comp. It actually was a great pickup here by OpTic.
Should take one. Maybe they were afraid of once that team gets Baron, if you have a Tristana as well, you lose all your turrets. So they're like, we'll take away one of the aspects that they're going to use to win this game in 20 minutes.
Man, who cares about Tristana taking your turrets anymore? It's all about that Banner, Baron, Siege creep.
They're going to change it. They're going to be like, you know what? You can just put it on your AD now. Just keep him protected.
They're immune to magic damage. That sounds a little broken. They got some BKB in here.
It's the minions for now. The minions are in the spotlight. We'll see who gets the win with the spotlight here. OpTic Academy versus Clutch Gaming Academy as we're about to head on to the Rift. And we're going to be there. Move the right way. Yes, I guessed right. It's kind of like the blow dryer in the mirror. Are you going the right way? Can't get it. You just never figure it out. And you're how old now?
It sounds strangely more personal for you than maybe some of the other viewers.
Old experiences. I don't think I've used a blow dryer in like, I don't know how many years. Into the game though, as this is such pertinent information. 6-7 and a 5-8. Like we said, these teams are looking to keep themselves right near that playoff contention and within it more so.
Right, because here in Academy, you only have 4 teams advancing to playoffs, so it's much more difficult to make it. And OpTic, if they can pick this win up, move to 7-7 on the week, actually have a pretty good chance of making a push. They do have some tough games to do it, but I mean, if you can't beat them in the regular season, maybe you don't deserve to be playing with them in the postseason.
Minion Dematerializer. There we go. On Max Trobo. Got
Only
that
one.
Only one. Very surprising, especially since there's a lot of magic damage on OpTic Academy, and they're going to have to basically put Andy in a lane if there's ever a banner minion.
It's one of the things that Jet and I have been talking on social media a fair amount about, and
check out the tweets. A
lot of analysts for teams have been kind of responding, saying it's hard to, as a strategy heading into the game, pick Dematerializers as a rune. That's an investment. Keep them in your inventory as a top laner. That's an investment of an item slot. And then not need to use all of them in-game before finally saving them for that moment where you use them against those Banner-empowered siege minions, because they will remove those. But Jat and I were arguing, of course, that, well, if you can find a situation that you can take them and it's not hurting your inventory slot, you should be saving them for that. And it feels like teams are still kind of learning how to do that.
In like the smallest little bits of it comes down to, you know, does this ever deny vision if things start to happen? You got to build, but they don't have banners to dematerialize. Are you not warding? The small things. It can be crazy. Yeah. So many little avenues.
Early on there, good trade for Piglet and Vulcan. Really chunking out of Winter. They lost the level 2 push, and then they lost a lot of their HP.
Vulcan taking a bit in the beginning, but he'll heal up off the passive nice and easy. As see Palafox just trying to push in here and get to his tier as fast as possible so he can get back and keep Sun at his turret. A little roam here for Moon. A slingshot off the right wall. Good hug here by Kadir as he baits him right in. Damage is still somewhat in the favor of Clutch Gaming, I'd say, here with Kadir on Nunu. Tries to heal himself up. Good damage from Palafox as they focus on the Moon. Doesn't want to lose the double buff, but now Sun in a very bad spot. Gets a Justice Punch in. Knows he's dead to rights. And goes down as Palafox plays it nice, and Kadir gets out.
Yeah, good play by Kadir there. He got kind of low, might have died, but he had a good move onto the Scuttle Crab to get some HP back so he could re-engage in that fight. Made it so Sun could not turn around and trade 1-for-1. And the early skirmish going in OpTic's favor here. And that's the Casio Nunu. You're scared about them come 20 minutes, burn the Baron down. Not a good start for that.
That is huge. It's kind of crazy how much damage is actually on that.
Yeah, and you see them just overcommit a little bit too much. Flash forward coming in, and then on
Quick
the side,
cleanse.
yeah, Moon wasn't willing to flash onto Kadir, and you see how much health he gained. Probably a good decision by Moon to hold his flash there. And now that he's healed up, Kadir is not going to fall to the Galio turning back around. So just a little out skirmish there on the side of Clutch Gaming.
Yeah, thanks to Scuttle as well, hovering on that bottom side for a quick chomp for Kadir.
You got to be a little mad at that. That's RNG that the Scuttle
for
grabs
sure.
there. In range to keep the Nunu healthy. That feels kind of bad.
We'll see if the push continues. Moon is down a flash on that, along with 2 sums on the side of Sun's Galio. But Palafox did have to cleanse there, helped him get a lot of damage out in the fight, and kind of turned it around for the team. As we're getting a view of the bot side of the map. Doesn't look like really any denial of CS, but yes, the repeat gank. The cleanse is down, why not?
It's interesting because generally speaking, Casio does well into Galio, can bully him around a little bit, but Galio usually doesn't die. Falls down in CS and still makes his roam plays. But now Casio, with Palafox being the best player, hold on.
Oh,
the bot lane.
The flash lick. Trying to get a taste of winter and doesn't get the acquired taste. Chomp him up. So they actually blow flash for flash on that. Rakan's still very slippery, so I'd say that's worse for the Vulcan side with the exhausted down.
And not too bad.
Yeah.
Just a small summoner trade there. And like you said, a small advantage for the side Clutch Gaming. But the point about mid lane, Palafox being one of OpTic's best players here, getting that early advantage in a favorable matchup where we're starting to see if mid laners can take over the game a little bit more now that their power level seemingly has been raised with this rework in the mid lane.
Kind of also driven the focus. Says, well, mid laners get those items early as well. We'll put mid lane focus there. Now we actually see a bit towards the bot lane. Piglet going right towards Moon. What a positioning for the fight to continue. And they bait it right into Moon on his entrance from the jungle.
That was very scary, but Piglet showing he knows the limits of the champions. Baits OpTic into that fight. They answer back with a kill. 1 for 1 now in the game. And Camille picked up the kill. Gonna see what Moon can do with it. Less vision on the map. Suddenly it's a lot scrappier. It's not at the point in the game where that would matter. There's no tracker's knife built.
I still like it.
Well, actually, I wonder.
Well, maybe we got skirmers already.
Yeah, Nunu did get first blood. I wonder if he could have actually got vision potentially to protect against that kind of play.
I like it. We have 4 more games to find out today.
Yeah, it's also worth noting that the tracker's knife is exactly what Nunu wants to do. Skirmishers doesn't help him a ton. He'd much prefer to run in your jungle and ward more than run in your jungle and slap you with some debuffs.
Steal your buffs, slap you with some. Basically a Nunu. Be a nuisance. Now towards the mid lane, they say we have flash down for a few more minutes. A lot of rotations coming out of bot. It looks like they'll back off just for now. They actually have to work together now to get this vision around the map early game. You can see that they do that with Kadir and Winter just 6 minutes in here.
Yep, thought about potentially going for that Cloud Drake, decided not to do it. Palafox, interestingly, phase rush. Don't see that too often. It is seen sometimes on Casio, but since the change that came in, the nerf, generally speaking, compared to the old version, not seen as a very strong summoner.
Yeah. Like, it kind of keeps you in range. Not that you're going to destroy somebody. You actually have to be in fight quite a long time unless you're super ahead with cast. I guess they like the speed. You already get a bit from Q, then you get a little more boost when you blast them down.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see where he goes with this, because there are 3 tanks on the side of Clutch Gaming, so you're almost always going to want to be in range of somebody to keep hitting them.
I played it the other day. Felt all right.
Yeah.
Didn't feel amazing. The builds feel great, though. All the build paths feel really nice. You always feel quite powerful as you're getting your items through. A little bit of a roam as well from Sun on the bot side with Moon. They try to get some wards in as they work around the bottom side of the map, making sure that no invades are going to be coming anytime soon. It's kind of quiet game on the side of a Casio team. You're waiting for that defense. It's really Sun and the team looking for Moon to get in. You see that hero's entrance start a fight.
Right, and that's the thing for Clutch Gaming here. Is the top lane is tank versus tank. It's a slow meatball fight. We don't even need to put the camera up there for probably the entirety of the game. I just said we don't need to put the camera up here.
And
Damn it, observers!
Zooms right in on you.
Yeah, but it's a situation where with Galio Camille, you're
Yeah.
not going to snowball mid lane too heavily now that they have the cleanse. You're probably going to go bot lane. You already have a 30 CS lead down there, so you can expect a lot of dives here.
Look at them split. Can't really get a good initiation. Hero's entrance would only knock up one. You'd have a lot of entry on the damage from OpTic, so nicely played as they saw that coming. And lane's a bit MIA.
I'm a little surprised to see them not finish pulling the trigger on that, as we get to see the wet noodle fight in the top lane going good for Max Strobo here. Forces Dokla's ultimate.
That's a pretty al dente noodle on that. Dokla's taking some damage here. Max Strobo gets the force on the flash and teleports down. It's going to be a long walk.
Damn, okay. So I guess we will see some fights in the top lane. I stand corrected.
He's not getting though. That minion starts to do so much damage. I remember Cyan came out. That's all you level. You just kick minions into people. You're not really kicking. Shout them. I think it'd be cooler if you just like.
You're not 300ing them. You're Fusro dying.
That's true.
Get your non-canonical references right.
And it's not happy for Dokla right now. Going for the armor and the mana crystal. It always feels bad when you have to like piece together something like that. And mana crystal. That never feels good.
Yeah, this is not a very combat-oriented build, especially considering Scion with that E, a lot of magic damage, so you're not necessarily even cutting into his damage. It's also worth noting that Scion did not go for the Arcane Comet, went for the Glacial Augment, so maybe would have had a little bit more kill threat if he had opted into that.
Oh my word.
Yeah, you build it right away, dude.
He raises the banner very early in the top lane, and he has used it already. Gonna start pushing in. That mana crystal has turned into a glacial shroud. Now Dokla can kind of help himself in this lane, but not against this minion. Dokla's not gonna do any damage to this.
So what's funny is some players were talking about like, oh man, I built Banner of Command first, and I felt like I could take a turret 1v1 so easily. I mean, it's crazy that this item's in the game on this patch, and it's like the item is the exact same as it's been this entire time. There was only a bug fix with how it interacted with the Baron buff. So if you think Banner of Command's strong now, that's kind of how it's been for a long time. You see it chipping away on that turret, and that's why it's strong to get it right away. In a tank matchup where you normally struggle to take a turret, now it's a little bit easier.
Half damage, you're allowed to get kind of free vision on that. Dokla's forced to get the turret to help him take it down.
So all things considered, really nice start to the game here by Clutch Gaming after that initial 2v2 in the mid lane turned a little sour. They have pressure in both side lanes. A little hard to dive the Maokai, but you're looking for them to blow this game open with a bot lane dive. They postured around it once, got the turret off of it, but they should still keep looking for that play because that's going to be how they actually grab definitive control of this game.
So who starts bringing back Yorick? You just cast your ult and a banner minion in the side wave, and you're off and running.
Hopefully nobody.
Hopefully.
But if anyone in Academy, probably Alra.
Oh, that's true. I'll take that.
Alorum.
Ding. Good catch, good catch. Just about 5K gold in favor of Clutch. Still anybody's game. Quick over the wall. Get a shield back. A nice clear out on ward. Zombie placement for him. It looks like not too much movement here. As we said, OpTic Academy going to stay nice and safe as they are kind of getting pushed in everywhere, and this team just wants to siege whenever possible. Kadir's going to come up top side. They see low mana on Max Strobo, but it's not a fight. It's just for jockeying position and hopefully saving that turret. Max Strobo starts to get out of lane, and they can start switching things up a lot with any sieges they want to start. Absolutely.
You can send one down the bot lane. Potentially you can ult down there. There's a lot of options once they're able to get the Scion onto the map. And you see the pressure of the Camille just going up there as well. Bot lane. They're sick of the camera being up top after we said it shouldn't be up there that much. They're like, no, guys. We're the superstars.
But there's still action in the top side. They're just noodles are boiling right now, in this fight. And Max Strobo finally getting the turret. 108 to 95, faring decently within the CS realm. But the lane overall, just the priority they get on the map from this is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, that's the thing is the banner will be up in a little bit. You can send one bot lane off a recall or something, posture a dive. If you can coordinate everything well, which is not that easy to do. And there is a fair amount of wave clear. As you see Andy on that Xayah pick.
So kind of looking at that in their strategy now, we kind of say, oh, it's going to keep happening. In this situation for OpTic, what is that best situation? Do you almost go and find Max Trobo, take him out, and make moves? Your waves have to be in order. There's a lot of things you have to put on your plate.
Yeah, I mean, there's really not too much proactivity. Anytime you pick a new jungle, that's what you're doing, is that he has a hard time influencing lane matchups. He went mid lane, he got a Cassiopeia lead, and off that, nothing's really happened. It is a 20 CS advantage, but you're just watching these side lane turrets drop down. You're hoping to keep your farm up, maybe find some pickoffs if people are being a little lazy, and keep the game even so that when your 20-minute destroy Baron win condition comes online, you can actually do that. But even right now, no banners yet. Kadir's got to start building his soon. Probably go that second, not going to go the Warmogs.
Multitasking, what a pro.
Get that AoE burn down.
Up on a Palafox. Gonna have a very, very strong Cassiopeia. We have not seen fight just yet. If Kadir is in range for that as well. And right now they're getting a little bit of vision onto Rift Herald. If they get Rift Herald as well, they have such lane priority. They'll just be able to kind of walk OpTic around the map wherever they want.
I want to see
Gonna do it himself.
Sion and Shelly coordinate a double headbutt onto a turret where they just sync it up. Oh, hold on, don't get caught.
Nah, the cat hugs. Nature's Grass goes out. Dokla gets the flash. Already having a rough game. Could go down here. Kept himself alive in the lane. One last lick for acquired taste. No, it fell off. He has to get another one down, but it's going to actually be Moon coming in to finish that one off. Hextech ultimatum onto Palafox. I said it could be a strong cast, but he is just overwhelmed as Clutch Gaming takes the bot side of the map. OpTic acts fast on the top side.
Good answer by them to make sure that they grab this buff away, but it's making the best of a bad situation. Their mid lane turret is going to be under fire here. They still have the Xayah to try and wave clear, but it's 4v2, excuse me.
Max Trobo there as well. Hero's entrance is down, so won't be able to use that.
Looks like they're going to be able to hold on. Piglet did not group up with them after that instead of pushing in the bot lane.
Oh, it's not used. He held onto it. Looks like he didn't have a siege wave last time he was there. So big cleanup for Palafox. And it looks like they will maybe put that towards mid lane and just actually do something with it here. We'll see how long they stay.
Max Turbo can set up a siege somewhere. They're threatening a dive here, but this looks kind of hard to pull off.
They don't have any range on the turret, so they have to put themselves in range. Why would you go that close? You know you have Vulcan there. Plays them on the bait. I didn't even see it coming. That's why it's so good. Moon getting himself out of that situation. I was going to say they're all melee. Why are they still around the turret? Moon's trying to get behind for a siege. It's almost obvious, but Vulcan was the card of the sleeve.
Yeah, I don't know. OpTic didn't really need to pull the trigger there. They go too aggressive. Like you said, Vulcan saves Sun, and they are able to get a kill. It did leave them low enough that they couldn't continue pushing, so Clutch Gaming will back off around that mid lane turret, but it does feel like only a matter of time before they actually pull the trigger on that. We'll get to see how that entire situation started. Dokla just down in the bot lane, a little bit too far forward. Didn't feel like he could get to his turret, so instead he's going to flash into River to try and meet up with Cassiopeia, but she's getting collapsed on by the Camille and the Galio. So Palafox tries to save Dokla, gets himself caught out of position now as Camille's going to be able to follow up. There's that Camille-Galio combination. Pretty brutal to play against, and that's what led to OpTic on the top side of the map grabbing the Rift Herald. The Siege follows after, and then everyone gets baited into going a little too hard. And Clutch Gaming is going to end that with 3 kills in their advantage. No turrets, I believe, but still a pretty substantial gold lead from that.
Just keeps going, fight after fight. Lane in favor of Palafox for when they were able to CS in it. His turret takes a bit of a hit there, and it may go down quite soon. Rift Herald still waiting to be crushed for the eye of Rift Herald, I should say, by Kadir. They make their way down to the Cloud Drake. Good split on the map so far. Looks like mid and top are being pushed here. Let's see how OpTic reacts.
Yeah, it feels like Clutch Gaming is basically of the mindset that they will not contest any neutral objective versus the Nunu. He can go ahead, take double Cloud Drake, take the Rift Herald. We're going to focus on turrets. We're going to build a gold lead so that we can force Baron from being stronger as champions at this point. So you see pretty substantial gold leads across the board. Cassiopeia with that CS lead, the only one ahead of their counterpart.
jungle control. Anything Clutch can do on the left or right side of the map there definitely makes it easier for Moon and Vulcan to get in for the siege these guys want to create on the turrets. But OpTic says, nope, we need that vision. We'll protect a few of these wards, and zombies will come up after, so they can leave a few of those so-called breadcrumb wards for safety. Nice safety dodge there by Winter.
See how hard OpTic is fighting for vision control here, want to protect their buffs as well as making sure that they can rotate between the two lanes, but it was very close to leading to a pickoff. And now that they're stuck with that red buff, Clutch Gaming flying to the mid lane, not actually going to hit that turret at all. I think that they could play these sieges slightly more aggressively, and I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Kind of waiting.
Yeah.
They're waiting for a few too many mistakes. I think you're right. They could get themselves into some trouble, but it is a counter team. Palafox hits a nice ultimate, and they're all kind of standing still, feeling a little silly that they did try to dive.
That's true with the Nunu. I think he was on the red buff at the time, but even then, they did lose some vision control of their jungle, so they might not have known exactly where Nunu was. Shelly gets dropped over the wall. It is a very scary team to jump into if a Maokai has his ultimate up, like you said, Cassiopeia and Nunu as well.
It's just, it's for map pull too. Shelly's not going to get any damage on this turret. A lot of room here for Piglet to play and take that down, as well as damage now from Vulcan. So they have control once again over top side. Already past River for Max Trobo here. So OpTic has to decide quickly. Do they kind of take a fight of their own? They do have the Rakan, but that's might be their only in with Dokla.
And they do have some engage tools, but they don't have great follow-up is the problem.
Yeah.
If Winter goes for a flash charm, are Palafox and Andy flashing forward to match it? It's hard to say.
All right, Baron is on the Rift. We'll see what happens. Banner's been used. You can see it ticking down there for Max Trobo. He gets himself miasma, but he doesn't need to get out of that situation. Oh, Moon has been searching. He just saw Winter over the wall now to Andy. Has he gone too far? Moon gets himself in trouble as he can now hook shot over the wall. True shot barrage, however, from Piglet picks it up, but a big back and forth that maybe Clutch did not need.
Yeah, getting a little bit too aggressive there. Luckily his team plays cleanup duty, but Moon loses his flash and his life. Hands over a shutdown, I believe, after that as well. So that's kind of that reactive play you were talking about from OpTic.
Oh, here it comes, Max Trobo. It's the tree right in front. Not sure that's what he wanted. They get good poke from Piglet, but it's only chipping away at those front targets. You can see it almost cuts down Palafox once he hits true.
Yeah, and Palafox also whiffed his ultimate there, so that's another one of those counter-engage tools down, makes Clutch Gaming feel like they can be a lot more aggressive. You see Piglet start shifting it as soon as that's up. And now, after that, they're going to be able to grab this mid-lane turret, keeping the pressure up. 5,000 gold now. Baron's on the map, but you got to be careful. You can't all recall at a poor timing and start giving this up to the Nunu.
It's all right. Nunu has banner. Not a problem. Oh, we can banner first. Banner. Take each other down. See it again.
Yep, so there you see Moon flashing the wall, gets a little bit too aggressive. Winter able to come flying in defense of his lover and protect him. And then the Nunu as well, dropping that absolute zero, making it very hard to continue chasing. Talk about banner command on the Nunu. How about 3 banner commands going to be coming in for Clutch Gaming here?
No, I see the Aegis. Don't do that.
No, it's happening. Welcome to 8.4, Riv.
Welcome to 8.4.
It's the 4th layer of hell.
Yep. Don't avert your eyes. You are seeing it correctly. They are waiting on just a bit more gold. And then they'll be able to basically run it down any lane they want. Here we have Max Trobo with his friend in hand.
It's also worth noting, as much as we were talking about the minion dematerializer.
Oh, it's going to be fun.
The Scion, Max Turbo, actually did hold the 3 charges. So what Jet and I were theory crafting was the ideal thing to do would be use your 3 charges, get the 3 different types of minions dematerialized so you have higher minion damage, helps you in your pushing.
So all 3?
Use 3 charges on the 3 different types of minions, but then save your next 3 charges unless you really need them for a late game situation where you can use it to dematerialize actual Baron Siege creeps. Because unless it's actually netting you a big advantage, it will be much more impactful later against pushes. So sometimes You might be losing a turret if you don't get rid of a cannon creep. Fine, use one of them. That's absolutely fine. And here you see, as I'm talking about, Max Strobo used one, and at this point in the game, they're ahead, and they should not be losing a Baron.
Right. They have another one top, too.
Yeah, so feel free to start just using these materializers a little more, but you want to hold it until the game state is a little bit more decided if you're going to need them.
So would you not do 2 casters in a siege?
Well, you do one of each type of minion to get the buff. So you want the melee, siege, and the range. And then after that, you know, you can use them as needed. So like I said, if you're getting pressured in lane, or you want to go for a certain like blue buff contest timing, whatever. Yeah. But otherwise, they're going to be much more effective later in the game. And if not, then great, use them later, and there's no harm done.
See Baroned up melees, or bannered up melees. Interesting. I've yet to.
Yeah.
Rolling down mid. Just a few minions, and the banners are on cooldown right now. Waiting for Vulcans to come back up. Don't actually have another one yet on the side of OpTic, so it's going to be them having to be in the right spot to defend this or make sure the Baron is theirs right away. Top lane, Max Strobo uses his. Dokla says, fine, I will back off until I can use my turret to take this down. Mid lane being pushed by Piglet is there, just trying to give OpTic a bunch of things to think about and make Baron that much easier.
It feels like they're stalling a little bit, potentially to wait for a couple more power spikes. So Camille not quite on the Triforce yet, maybe waiting for that situation so that she can do a lot more damage to the Baron. They also don't have a great Baron team. Piglet does a lot. Sun does a little bit, but as he's more tank Galio at this point, they're not going to do this super quickly. And Nunu does not have flash, so it's actually a little bit easier to take.
Waiting is not an option. Will be heading in as much as possible. Pretty early sweeper there from Winter means they can't deny as much vision as what they take down Kadir. The Baron is theirs. That is huge. Hero's entrance comes in. Oh my word. They lose Moon immediately, but then they quickly take down Winter. Kadir slowly healing himself on the outside of the fight as he can get another chomp in, but he goes down. Quickly hit up by the Winds of War as they continue the fight. Kadir just kind of doing his own thing on the backside there as Palafox, Andy, and Dokla run for safety. This should be Baron.
Nice idea by Clutch Gaming there, but
actually they don't have their junglers.
Yeah, they traded smites in a sense, where both junglers dropped. Moon went a little too deep trying to finish Kadir off, and he got rooted under. Uh-oh.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
See the fight again.
Yeah, so Kadir, you see, with no flash, caught out of position. They want to finish him off, but Moon is going to be slightly too far forward, gets hit up by that Cassiopeia. Palafox is just kind of permanently CC'd there. Oh.
Yeah, the moment he went to consume and get back in the fight is the moment he went.
Yep, so he's going to get dropped. The traded junglers, and off this fight, not much going to happen. But Clutch Gaming still in control of this game. Almost got that Triforce finished by Moon. They go back into their setup on the split pushes, the 1-3-1 with Piglet in the mid lane, side lane with the banners. And now Tom Kench has his 2.
Triple-double. You got triple-double.
3v2 and banner minions. Who wins? 10 champions or 5 minions?
Oh my word. It's cool though. I mean, that's very warlike, right? Everybody's got a banner. You run around.
Yeah, what tribe you're a part of.
Well, yeah, it's cool, right? We'll see how they use them.
Yeah, it's cool on day 1, maybe day 2. Day
you think
4,
this is going to keep happening?
Get me out of here!
Nobody's going to do this over and over. These guys are just trying it out.
Yeah. That's very optimistic of you, Riv.
44.3 to 39,000. Clutch Gaming definitely working a lot of those structures on the map to get this lead. That means there's a lot of gold for OpTic. However, it just seems like one of those games that if it is turned around, OpTic's going to be going down. One lane at the time. Wards on wards. Wardageddon inside the Baron pit right now. Vision's getting denied by Lonely Pink Wards.
As Zombie Ward coming up pretty big there. Lots in the pit. Jack that.
Vision score. No wonder they're always beating me.
And what's interesting is that, like you said, with all this standing gold in the map, no turrets for OpTic, is if they ever do win a fight, they'll probably go for the Baron.
Kaboom.
They'll probably secure the Baron, and then they'll have double of those Baron buff, or excuse me, bannered up minions with that Baron buff to start melting turrets, come flying back and control this game. And all things considered, their late game team fighting is probably superior with the Cassio Xayah being better late game threats than Galio Ezreal. So you know, OpTic far behind here. They need to hold on to this Baron because at this point Baron is so deadly in the current game state. But if they do hold on, they actually have a pretty good chance of winning this game.
You see MarkZ has dematerialized a few of those minions, bopping them as they come by. All of them are on cooldown except for his. Where is he? Top side, he's just actually waiting for the minion to do so and for mid lane to get a little priority here. The Drakes, so lonely this game. There's still another Cloud Drake up though, third and last Cloud Drake of the game, and then we'd start to see that new Elder.
Yeah, it does feel like OpTic is the only one who really cares about the Dragons right now, and since they're losing the game, it's not really up to them if they're allowed to go for that dragon.
We can get objectives.
No, you can't.
We're like, actually, no, we can't.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah, it's tough to play Nunu from behind. You kind of just run in circles and hope that your team wins a fight so you can start taking objectives again. But at this point, basically relegated to Ward Duty, and Moon is just going to solo this instead. Blade
of the Rune King just coming out for Piglet, so he gets a little solo potential for himself as well if they try to get onto him in the fight. He can get away from Dokla and Kadir. MarkZ stands as a wall between OpTic and Baron. Sun pushes bot, so they're able to split this so well here with how much map control and movement they have in TPs and Galio's ultimate.
And you saw the tough Banner of Command minions fighting each other in the bot lane.
An epic battle of proportions.
It's the new version of the tank fight. It's just the cannon creeps fight now.
That's what we have to look forward to. Ooh, yes, Moon did pick up that Drake. Shots towards Winter. If Piglet can start off fights like that, OpTic really has no chance. They don't have the HP. They start clearing out all the resources. Oh, he did get him. He just got the red buff, which then the kill comes out of the Blade of the Rune King, attack active, and the auto.
I'll have to see what they want to do with this. The Rakan is not the most important member on the side of OpTic. It is nice that they dropped him. They're going to start the Baron off, but you still need to track that Nunu for the flash consume steal. Could be horrible if this goes wrong, but they're going to start it off.
This is one of those half to 50-50s though, MarkZ, I was talking about. Usually you're like, oh, it's okay, we can hang on for a bit, but you almost have to. But look how much damage they take. They have to back off. There is no hit coming in from the bot lane. Dokla actually TP's into mid at the last second there. They're going to get the Abyssal Voyage forward. That's Vulcan going right onto Dokla. He's going to get chopped up before he gets over the wall. Yes! And then spit back into the frying pan. A little bit of miscommunication.
Yeah, OpTic comes a little bit off of the rails there. They backed off the Baron contest as MarkZ went to go play zoning duty, and already Dokla was TPing in the mid lane, so he drops, and now they don't have their frontliner really to walk forward and contest some of these Baron creeps.
Minions. They're moving their way forward. Top lane, not the biggest wave, but they have time to work out this inhibitor and let that pile up if they need to make some work on it. Palafox, that ultimate is up, but he can't hit any targets that would really matter. Sun and Moon just break out of the Petrifying Gaze easy enough to fight the back line still, and OpTic get a chance of breathing room now to clear out the wards and a few minions here as Clutch Gaming leaves the base.
Yeah, not too much breathing room though. Baron's still up for 2.5 minutes. Some of those Banner of Commands are ready to go on both the mid and top laner. We're going to have to see where they decide to drop those, but the engage for OpTic, like we said, is not great, so it's going to be really hard for them to get on top of the Baron bannered up creeps and deal with them from taking their turrets.
Also, seemingly having his hitting every Q in lane type of game, Piglet 3-0-6 after not the best comeback for himself and just having a rough start back into the Academy League.
Yeah, it feels like he's kind of exacerbated his play style even more than what it was before, where he was a bit of feast of famine player. He plays so aggressive. Sometimes he takes over games. Sometimes he throws them away. This game has absolutely dominated, and that's kind of the problem that's been here for Clutch Gaming in this Academy League, is sometimes he also throws the games pretty hard. So having a great game this time around, though.
We got to remember that E is for forward. I actually played with the Tristana the other day. She said, that's the only thing I know how to do is E4 or W forward. Piglet the same way with Arcane Shift. 9-3. Baron is making quick work of the structures on the bot side of the map. Dokla taunted up, gets hit by the Winds of War, and almost finished off by the following shots as he's almost locked in place long enough. 9-3. Clutch Gaming looks like they're there to stay.
Yeah, they still have that Banner creep behind them as well, so there's no reason to actually back off this push. Sure, you can go topside and try and work down another inhibitor, or you can try and use this to actually end the game right now. It will force OpTic to pick a fight, most likely.
Ooh, Petrifying Gaze just missing. Winter wants to go in. He says, I can get him for a second. Okay, they call over Hero's entrance. They've wasted a few ults, but it's not even enough. That just means that they don't have the ults to fight. They don't have to worry about using them. Now they're just attacking the champions of OpTic. Under the turret, though, still a little tentative about going in as the back and forth from Andy and Palafox chip away at Clutch Gaming. It is not enough, though. Healing up, keeping themselves alive ever so slightly, and long enough to take down the Nexus. Clutch Gaming Academy take down OpTic.
That's what we're talking about with these bannered up Baron Siege minions. You start one, you drop it in the lane, and if they can't deal with it, it can literally end the game. You saw how much pressure OpTic was under there. They try and force that fight towards the end of the game. Doesn't quite work out. The Rakan dies, they lose their engage, and for the rest of the time, they're just sitting there under their turrets, watching them die around them.
In a safe lane, basically kind of picked for Clutch everywhere. And then those lanes became very aggressive. You had the Sion, the Galio, and then an Ezreal, Tahm Kench bottom lane. Farm it out, do great things. There was a little action mid lane, and then you just saw, hey, Sion can get that item first. Don't even go to that lane. Don't even give it attention. He'll build it. He'll win it. Yeah,
that's what I liked a lot about this comp by Clutch Gaming here. They had the bot lane, which was on Piglet's signature champion. It was a good matchup for them. They were able to get leads. You have the Camille Galio to try and snowball that lead, and then Max Trobo had the better tank pick with the Sion. Like you said, completes that banner of command first, and then starts getting pressure all in his own. Camille does go up there to help finish that turret off, but at that point, he had already done what he needed to do, and the game just slowly rolled downhill from there.
So what's your take on Dematerializer quick before we hear from one of the players?
I liked it overall. He did it exactly how I wanted to. Use it as needed in the laning phase. Hold on to it until you know the game's in your hands. Then you can start getting rid of it to clear up some item slots.
Seemed to work. To hear more about that victory, I'd like to welcome Moon to the broadcast via Skype. Moon, how you doing, buddy?
Doing pretty good. How are you?
Not too bad. Thanks for asking. Congratulations on the victory. Thanks for joining us. I got to say, pretty one-sided for you guys. A little back and forth in the early game. But the idea, I got to ask you, of the banners coming out, what are you feeling?
Well, for everyone that didn't see the game yesterday, we pretty much lost to FlyQuest in the exact same way that we beat OpTic. They won a little bit early game, and then they had 3 banners, and they got Baron, and we pretty much just lost the game. I think that's kind of just the meta right now. Whichever team has more banners, if they get Baron, they just win.
And, I'll give you free reign here to just say your thoughts on this. And like, do you like playing it? Do you not like playing it? You know, what's your hot take?
Honestly, I think it's not that bad. I think the banner minion could get slightly nerfed. We definitely had a bad read on the meta this past week, going into scrims and stuff. We didn't really prioritize banner as hard as other teams did. So coming from yesterday, we changed a lot today. I think it's not that bad of a change. Like if Riot sticks with it and maybe change a little things or a couple of things, but it's so much different than like the past few patches. So definitely going to take a long time for teams to adapt to it.
And kind of on patches, I want to ask your team about that. How do you feel Clutch Gaming adapts the patches? Do you think this actually helps you guys? There being only kind of 4 spots to move into that playoff contention. Is this something that helps Clutch Gaming?
Honestly, I think like historically this season we've been really bad at adapting to patches. I feel like we're always kind of like a week late on new champions and like the new meta. And it kind of showed yesterday to our loss to FlyQuest. They just picked Nunu as here, and we got totally caught off guard by that. But we'll see how it goes in the next coming weeks.
Adapted today.
Yeah, we did. So speaking a little bit about this game in particular, things started off kind of sour actually, where there was a 2v2 in the mid lane, where Nunu was able, with the Scuttle Crab there, to get the extra health needed to kind of win that fight. What was your mentality like at that point, kind of losing that 2v2 and then bouncing back and actually having a pretty incredible game?
The 2v2 definitely didn't go as planned. Camille Galio should win pretty much every 2v2 around mid. Especially versus Nunu. He doesn't really provide much, but we just kind of went over eager. It was my bad. I called to flash W and it ended up not working. I thought Nunu would be on his topside camps. But after that, Camille versus Nunu, like I'm so much stronger than him at fighting pretty much no matter what. So he always has to avoid me. So even though like I die or Josh died, he can just TP back to mid and the mid matchup is still going to be neutralized and I'm way stronger than Nunu 1v1. So
awesome. And before I let you go, I got to ask you the changes as well. Hit a bit of mid, but also APs. And we see Evelyn banned against you all the time. Any kind of love or tips for the Evelyn players out there or anything you like about the new changes?
Definitely love new Eve, but I can't really get a chance to play her ever, so not much to say. even in scrims, it's banned a lot. Like I can play it like one time, and then we'll just like stomp the game, and then for the rest of the scrim set, it's just banned.
How do you feel the AP items have affected anything she can do?
Honestly, I'm still trying to figure out the best build for her. But I think just it hasn't changed too much. Right now, it seems like Seraphs is like really overtuned, and most junglers can't really build that.
Right.
So.
Maybe you're the first, Moon. Maybe you're the first. Thanks for joining us, buddy. Congratulations on the win,
so
and
much.
best of luck going forward to Clutch.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to be headed for a break, but when we come back, we'll have Game 2 of the afternoon with Cloud9 Academy going up against Counter Logic Gaming. Don't touch that browser. We'll be right back. Social.